And welcome into Talk Football with Coach K. This is JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson on this Friday afternoon. The weekend is here. Beautiful weather outside. It's going to be just an awesome weekend. We've got football for you. We're going to talk all kinds of football. XFL coming on at 12:30. Don't forget, Inside the XFL show. That is 12:30. We're going to have a lot of everything XFL for you. Of course, we're excited about the XFL season. We had Oliver Luck on the show last week. Going to try to get some guests on this week. But, Coach, look, first things first, we got a heck of a show today, but how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Look forward to today.
Absolutely. Now, we have a special guest coming on the show after our first break here. Maybe you guys have heard of him. New FSU coach Mike Norvell will join us, and, it's going to be a pleasure, Coach.
Yeah, he's really an excellent choice, I think, at Florida State. I've said that repeatedly. He came in and salvaged what could have been a disastrous recruiting year. I think I know he did a heck of a job at Memphis State. He's got his feet on the ground. He really, I think, does a heck of a job evaluating players, and certainly has gained their respect so far, and should have even the short time he's been there. So it was a good. I think it'll be an awfully good interview with him, and I look forward to keeping up with him on their progress down there.
Absolutely, going to be a lot of fun, and it's a special treat, especially with all the FSU fans we have down here. I know quite a few that are tuning in as well. Coach, I want to start with a couple of the headlines before we get to that there. The Colts vetting Rivers and not going after Brady. It seems that, look, all these are all reports coming from the Combine. This is not me here. Coach, we've talked about this before, that Brady would be a good fit in Indianapolis. Jacoby Brissett seems like he's out the door now. Coach Frank Reich said, listen, everything's on the table at this point. We need a quarterback. And Jacoby did a good job, he even said in his interview, but it's not their guy. We saw that last year. Jacoby was a good backup for him.
He's a good guy, and he's a good backup, but, they got a good offensive line. They got a good running game. They've got a good defense are coming on stronger and stronger. They've got some skill now, even their young receivers to go along with Hilton. And they're in a position with a good quarterback. Could put them over the top very easily.
And, Coach, when you talk about Phillip Rivers, this kind of seems, if they don't get Brady, of course, Phillip Rivers kind of seems like this could be the perfect comeback story for him with a team that's built the way. Now, the Chargers, they had some talent over there, but they weren't built like the Colts are built right now, where that missing piece seems to be that quarterback position. I feel like Rivers could go over there and have a good comeback year.
Well, and here's the other thing you got to think about that is worth a ton of gold. He and Frank Reich worked together for 3 years. Frank coached him for 3 years out in San Diego. So probably very like personalities on the football field. I think it's a marriage made in heaven on the football field. It could be really potent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also believe the offensive coordinator, it's the same thing there, work together with the Chargers. Coach, another story here. Well, we've been waiting on Jerry Jones to speak out. Well, he spoke. I don't know if this is what we were looking for in the lines of Jerry Jones opening up here. He said he looks at Dak like a son, but the deal has to fit in order for them to come to a deal, which I think is obvious there with the Cowboys. And he also said, look, Des Bryant came up. Des Bryant wants to come back, the former receiver for him, a good receiver. Of course, he tore his Achilles when he went to the Saints, the first practice with him. He said, I've thought about Des when I'm in the shower of coming back. Now, I don't know why I thought about him in the shower. I guess that's where he does his deep thinking.
Jerry, in this day and age, be careful about what you say, buddy.
But Coach, he looks at Dak like a son. And I know that this whole thing here, long term, of course, you look at Dak and you're like, well, maybe that's the long term. But Jerry Jones did not answer anybody's question. He basically said, listen, I like Dak, but the deal's got to work, which is what we knew.
That's what they've got to say. Listen, they had to move forward. That if you want to know the truth, I really think what happened behind the scenes, I know it did in public. Dak Prescott and his agents were putting the heat on Dallas to move forward. If you don't start moving forward with a contract here, we're going to assume that something's up big time. and they would have brought that to the press, the attention of the press. The last thing they could afford in case it doesn't work out, another plan, another if they were thinking about going another way, they had to keep him happy. They couldn't have him being a disgruntled quarterback. So I think this is all to placate, to pacify Dak and his people right now. I think they're legitimately looking at a contract, but I can assure you, unless they feel it's right, they're not going to do it.
Look, this whole Dallas deal, it's like the Brady deal. We're going to continue to talk about it until something happens, and it's
Yep.
going to be interesting. I mean, this is news. Every day we see it on the news, and it's, Coach, it's just as interesting to us. But move on here. Look, new mock draft come out. Now, this is not the official Mel Kiper mock draft, but this is a lot of course, intel and what we're talking about. I think this comes from the story we saw with Ron Rivera the other day, talking about, listen, we're open to anything at this point, whether it's the quarterback position or whatever. Dwayne Haskins, well, he's not been anointed the starting quarterback, and he understands that. Well, Tua is now going number 2 to the Redskins, Coach. It just seems like the revolving door of
I don't buy that. I mean, there's some logic there. Going back to the old axiom that if there's a quarterback that comes up that you have a shot at, and you know that that quarterback is going to be something that you're not going to be able to get uh, maybe for years and years and years, if ever, you better go ahead and get him. Now, so it fits that model. But it doesn't fit the model of you just spend a number one draft pick on a quarterback. And if you spend another number one, to me, you've wasted a number one draft pick. And you've subtracted another great player from your football team. I would think that Washington, with if they keep the number two pick, would probably take the pass rusher. They could take the quarterback, but I think they would probably take the pass rusher. My gut is they're positioning for a trade where they can still get the pass rusher and add other players to their roster, and that would be a smart move if they do that.
Well, Coach, moving on to some college news here. Well, of course, we'll start with the good for Alabama. Henry Ruggs. Well, Coach, he just missed the 40-yard dash record at the Combine with a blazing 4.27. Now, John
Wow.
Ross owns the record at 4.22. Of course, a lot of Auburn fans out there are like, what about Bo? That wasn't official. See, it's official at the Combine. They said,
Yeah.
the rumor is Bo ran a 4.1. Well, that's not going to say he didn't. That's a big guy. I'm not going to argue with
Yeah.
that. But Henry Ruggs, Coach, this is a dynamic receiver for Alabama. Of course, the naysayers coming out and said, yeah, but what has speed done? Look at the top guys here. I think it's the top 10 guys that ran the 40 that have the records here. They have done nothing in the NFL. Well, okay, I understand that. Speed doesn't mean everything.
Let's
But
look at Kansas City. I believe they just won a Super Bowl
Tyreek Hill.
primarily because of the speed that they have.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, Miko Hardeman, all those guys. I mean, Coach, when you look at Ruggs, though, this is different to me. This is an Alabama receiver. He's not fully polished yet. He's not supposed to be, though. This guy is good. I mean, you saw the dynamic ability they had at Alabama. Uh, I tell you, this seems to me he helped his draft stock, of course, with a speed like that because everybody already knows he's a playmaker. And I think that he's going to go to somewhere. I'm not sure. They said, of course, it looks like he could be possible top 10. It all depends on the situation, all depends on the trades as well. But running a 4.27, it's good. It definitely doesn't hurt you, Coach.
Oh Lord, let me tell you, 4-2. Uh, give you an example. Only one player ever in my whole time in football did I personally, when I was timing or at a stadium where they were timing, did I ever see a player break the 4-3? I mean, break a 4-4 into a 4-3. Um, One time. So, and I think that was a 4-3-6 or 4-3-8. I'm not sure, but it's just, I mean, 4-2 something is just beyond comprehension.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here. Of course, Alabama fans, you may not care at this point the way this up and down has been here for this young man. Alabama cornerback Scooby Carter, the redshirt freshman, enters the transfer portal again, the third time in 3 months, Coach. Now, Saban suspended him for missing class, and he suspended him in the Mississippi State game. After that, he entered the transfer portal. Then a month later, his dad came out and said he's decided to stay. And then he entered it again, and then he came back, and now he's entered again for the third time. So, at this point, if you're Alabama, I guess it's time to get this guy out of here. But what a bizarre story.
Oh, yeah.
Third time in 3 months.
They entered the transfer tunnel and the time tunnel. Get him out of there.
Well, it's just to read that, when I was just reading the article and getting the reports on that third time, well, that's a lot just in general for guys, but you did it 3 months. You got some decision-making problems going on. But nonetheless, we wish the guy the best here. But, Coach, we're up against a break. When we come back, you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to have FSU coach Mike Norvell join us on the show here on – you've been listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
Attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So, you're having some starting trouble. Sorry to hear that. We'll help you find the answers you're looking for. We can start by testing your battery. Don't worry, it won't cost you a thing. Just bring it inside and we'll handle the rest. Testing your battery will help us know if it's time for a change or not, which means you won't waste any money on something you don't need. You can learn more about our free battery testing on AutoZone.com. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
His football career started as a quarterback at Pensacola High. It culminated as the coach of the Buffalo Bills. Now, Coach K. Stevenson talks football every day at noon on Talk Football with Coach K.
Kareem Hunt got pulled over last week for speeding.
This guy's been in trouble over and over and over again. Now, if they get him out of this, he will get in trouble again.
Noon to 1, weekdays on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You can watch Coach K talk football live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
And welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach K. Stevenson. Well, we had a special guest join us on the show. Just fantastic. We appreciate him so much, Coach. FSU coach Mike Norvell. And for you FSU fans out there, of course, I think he's done such a great job with the short time he's been there, from recruiting to wherever it may be. I think he's going to bring with him a lot of discipline and rejuvenate what has been a long couple years for FSU football. But this is our interview with Coach Norvell.
address some of the major headaches I'm sure that you had to take a look at. Most penalties by any D1 team last year, 48 sacks. That was 125th. Just those alone are problems that give most people an Excedrin headache that they can't get rid of.
We're excited about an opportunity to improve, and that's really been a big focus of ours. Coming in, starting with the all-season program, trying to work on, the little things that can help make a difference, and make sure that everybody's on the same page. Trying to hold these guys and ourselves to a high standard in how we operate. And, truly work to improve each and every day throughout our process, but. We want to be a football team that plays smart in regards to that of, not hurting ourselves with penalties and, obviously owning the football and, trying to eliminate negative plays while trying to create explosive plays. So all that's going to be part of the process. And, we're excited about starting spring practice here in a little over a week from now to really, hit the ground running with that.
Well, I'm sure you're gonna do that. You did an excellent job at Memphis State, and everyone's aware of that. And they're looking forward to your spring. I'm looking forward to your spring practice. And how you what you see coming with that quarterback position. The young man that you got from Arizona, I hear from friends of mine, even some NFL scouts that say he's the real deal. You got a heck of a prospect there.
Well, we're excited about the guys that we have, and really at every position, this spring we'll be, trying to evaluate the skills and talent of the guys that are here, and we're excited about the guys that we're able to bring in at the first signing class that we were able to assemble. We think that. We've got some talented guys, but as much as anything else, we're going to formulate, what we do offense, defense, and special teams wise around the skills and talents of the players that we have, and we feel like we were able to address some needs there in recruiting, and we were able to develop some competition depth at certain positions. Quarterback being one of them. We were able to sign two high school signees coming in. I know you mentioned Chilla Purdy from Arizona, and then Tate Rodemaker from Valdosta, Georgia, and Tate's here for the spring, and we feel like Chuba's going to be a great addition when he gets here this summer. So we're definitely excited about that position here moving forward.
Well, you should be, absolutely, and again, I hear good things about it. I'm looking forward to it. You lost a heck of a running back in Cam Akers. How do you feel you're going to be able to keep that running game? Florida State's often had outstanding backs, and he's a heck of a guy to replace, though.
Oh, absolutely, and I mean, somebody that's had the career and. Obviously the impact that Cam had over his time here in Tallahassee, it's going to be hard to replace him with any one player. And, coming in, that was a position that we needed to create some competition and really depth. The position's kind of taken a hit over the years. With just overall depth, and we were able to do that. I think we ended up signing 5 running backs, here over the last 2 signing days, and so we think that we had to address a need of guys that come in and be able to impact early, but also some guys I think that have a huge opportunity, for continuing that standard of great running back play, and it's something that I've always been around throughout my coaching career and being able to utilize that position.
How would you describe, and I know this is maybe a difficult question in some ways because I hear all these different descriptions of offense. Bill Walsh called his the West Coast offense. Somebody else calls it, they've got a different name for every offense. But how do you feel you want to evolve? If you're not there yet, how do you feel you want to evolve into? What type of offense would you like to get proficient at Florida State University?
Well, I tell you, the easiest way is to say that our offense is an offense that's built for playmakers, and we're gonna focus on the skills and talents of the guys that we have, and making sure that we're putting them in the best position to showcase those skills and talents, in each and every rep. And so we've been multiple over the years. We've had years that we've ran for over 4,000 yards. We've always had balance. We've been able to do that in both the run and the passing game. But when it comes down to the exact scheme that we're going to run or how we do it, I like to kind of consider our offense a pro style offense with a spread presentation. We can do just about everything. We'll utilize a variety of different positions and personnel groupings, but it's truly always built around our players.
Boy, I like that. I think that's absolutely the route to go. I appreciate that answer too. That sounds good. The offensive and defensive fronts, Coach, are just, you live and die with those people. I've often said, I don't care whether it's pro football or college now, more so than it used to be. But you have to have a quarterback, an efficient quarterback, and then that's number one. And number two is a productive pass rusher, one that can almost dominate a ball game. I've seen pass rushers. We were fortunate enough to draft Bruce Smith at Buffalo, and you get a great pass rusher. At times, they can control and dominate a football game. How do you feel up front, both sides of the ball? How do you feel you're set right now?
Yeah, we're excited about what the future will be, and we feel when you look at the some of the transitions that we're gonna be going through. We're gonna get back to having being a 4-down base defensively. We feel really good about the guys that we have on the defensive front. We think that we do have some depth, some experience that's coming back. Having Marvin Wilson return for a senior year was something that was big. We feel like we got a couple edge guys that you definitely have the ability to get to the quarterback, and we're excited about some of the young men that we're able to sign here. In these with this early signing class, and so we're excited about the defensive line and where it is. I think the offensive line, we definitely have some guys that possess talent. You guys that have kind of had a tough situation. With so many different coaches at the position over the years. I think Coach, you would know, just anytime you have that much change, it's hard to get continuity along the offensive line. And we do have some guys that are very talented. We've got some guys that have the right mentality and want to grow and get better. Then we were able to sign, I think, five offensive linemen here in this signing class that I think guys that will provide an opportunity to come in and be able to compete earlier in their career, but. It's going to be part of the process of growth, and you build those guys together. But there's no doubt about it. That's going to be a huge focus for us moving forward.
Right, and I'm sure I know, and most coaches know how valuable that offensive line coach is. It's just something you have to have. Speaking of recruiting, and you did an outstanding job coming in as late as you did, and salvaging what could have been a disastrous year recruiting, and you came back strong. Good recruiting year, but the best is yet to come, as always, when you've got time to get your feet on the ground and establish a program. What do you see coming up in the near future with recruiting? Because I know this is a year-round deal now, not like it used to be.
Absolutely, and it's all about building relationships, and with kind of the accelerated pace of recruiting, that's something that we've been hitting this as fast as we can. We've been getting to know all the different coaches from the surrounding areas that we're going to focus on, and it's gone really well. And we're excited about obviously what we have to be able to offer for a young man. When you look at the all inclusive approach of you got a university that is progressing at an all time rate. Tied 18th in the country academically. With our academic ranking, you have one of the best football traditions in the history of the game, and so many wonderful players that have come before to help to establish that great tradition. Coupled coupled with, an offense, defense, and special teams philosophy of really being able to showcase playmakers. And that is something that, obviously each and every one of these young men want to know how they're going to be utilized. And we're able to provide them with great evidence of what that can look like and what that'll be here at Florida State.
Well, listen, I know that's going to be a successful operation totally down there. Listen, Coach, I've held you as long as we said we would. I know you've got to go, and I do appreciate it. Would like to have you back on at some point, maybe after spring. You got a little better evaluation.
No, absolutely. And Coach, I appreciate you having me on and look forward to talking to you soon.
You bet. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
And that's Mike Norvell, the FSU coach right there, coming over from Memphis. Coach, I know we got a couple minutes here before we got to go to break, or a minute, but what a special treat. We appreciate Mike Norvell coming on and just the insight. When he talks about that program, he knows he has his work cut out for him, but in the little time that he's been there, what he has done already to help rejuvenate the interest back to FSU football like it was when Bobby Bowden's there. Look, it's going to take some time. You're not going to do this overnight, but he has done such a fantastic job so far.
I'm very impressed. I was impressed with his past record, what he did at Memphis State. But I'm very impressed with the guy. I think he's going to do a heck of a job down there. And listen, his past will give them. I look at his response to the offensive question I asked, right on the money. He's to me, he said exactly how you should approach offensive football. He's going to do a good job, and I think all the FSU fans should take heart and support him, because he's gonna bring that program back.
And Coach, I know we got to go here, but when you talk about that, this is a program that was next or toward the bottom in Division I in sacks given up at 125th out of 130. They were last in penalties, the very bottom right there. I want FSU fans, take this step by step. You are not going to be a national champion next year. It's going to take a little time.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this is a product that I fully believe this, when Mike Norvell builds this, it will sustain.
Yeah, and keep in mind that he came in facing a mess. I mean, a terrible situation down there that he's going to have to dig out of. And you're right, it's going to take a little while, but he's going to have to dig out of it. It's not going to be done overnight.
Well, listen, we're going to go to break. When we come back, it's going to be Inside the XFL. We're going to have all your Week 4 breakdowns of all the teams. We're going to have our predictions, and we may even have an interview for you. It's going to be Inside the XFL. You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this: whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since
into his IT career. Make 2020 your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Classes meet on campus or live online just 2 times a week. It ain't rocket science. It's My Computer Career. mycomputercareer.edu.
You can watch Coach K talk football live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Just And welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Time now each and every Monday and Friday at 12:30 inside the XFL with the biggest games from the hottest topics going on right now throughout the spring. The XFL has been impressive. A lot of people from P.J. Walker, names that have really caught fire, an opportunity to become the next best thing in the NFL. And coming up this week, a number of big games, including the D.C. Defenders and Tampa Bay Vipers, as they'll play coming up here, as D.C. checking in at 2-1 at Tampa Bay, looking for that first win. A tough loss last week to the Houston Roughnecks by 7, but the defense getting better. And coming up here, Coach, I know somebody that you know from the coaching days right there. He has been on the sidelines right there in the cowboy hat for the Atlanta Falcons, back to now the defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Vipers, Jerry Glanville, who will be joining us here in a few seconds.
Yeah, I tell you, he's a character. He's a great guy and a heck of a coach, Jerry Glanville, and the Houston Oilers, Atlanta Falcons. He's been all around the world.
Well, and we're looking forward to talking to him coming up. The biggest interviews you're not going to find anywhere else with former NFL coaches like Kay Stevenson. Last week, Oliver Luck gave the State of the Union, the commissioner of the league, which is cool. Folks, not too many local radio stations, ESPN affiliates to be able to talk to the commissioner here of the league to get Week 3, the State of the Union. Pretty cool. And we're going to continue the biggest interviews with the biggest names with someone like Jerry Glanville that all of us grew up watching, from Atlanta to being on Buffalo, the Houston Oilers, all those teams and more. And that'll be coming up in a few minutes from now. Coach, a lot of big games. What to you would you say so far as we're efforting right now? I know he's at practice and getting ready for the game this weekend. But what is to you one of the things about the XFL that has been the most impressive? Because you've been in leagues like that before. But what is something that has been really exciting to watch?
Well, I think the coaching has been good, and I think we have.
I believe we do.
Coach Glanville on, Coach.
Yes, sir.
It's your old buddy from quite a while back, and I understand that if you're not in Tampa, you're just camping out. Is that right?
Yeah. Now, did you go to Florida? Did you go to the Florida University?
I did.
And where was your home? In the Panhandle up there?
Yeah, it's Pensacola. That's where we are. That's where we are now.
Oh wow, you're awesome.
Yeah.
How's your wife doing?
She's doing well. How's your family?
Well, your wife's the best.
Well, listen. Let's talk a little XFL a minute. That's
okay.
Kind of exciting the way everything's gotten off the bat here. It looks like you've got some players. That's a good product, and that's only going to improve. And but we're looking forward to that Grits Blitz taking over there very shortly.
Well, it's kind of funny you say that. We worked on zero coverage today because our zero coverage wasn't what we needed it to be against June. We had real good zero coverage out against Seattle, and we let the zero coverage guy get to our inside. And as you know, that's not good. So today, if the zero coverage is good, that means we're coming after you.
Well, that's going to happen with you on defense. I know that. How do you see the league progressing from here? You've got a feel now after 3 weeks, Jerry, about the caliber play and what you're facing with the different. One thing for sure, they're different. Everybody's got a different offense in that league.
Yeah, it's not stereotyped. It's not that everybody runs the same NFL offense. Like this week, it's really, it's like we're playing Stanford. I can see Stanford. I can see Michigan is like who we're playing. Of course, last week we played June Jones, which was a run and shoot 4 wides the whole time, and the week before they ran 2 tight ends every play like the old Redskins. So we get to see it all. I'm proud to be here because the players are excellent players. Kay, you would love the players. They have football intelligence, so you know how our defense works. They have to put themselves in the right defense by the package that you're playing, and I have no trouble with football intelligence. Defensive line, I think it's one of the best defensive lines I've ever had anywhere.
Gosh, that's interesting. That is very interesting. What would you say is the strength of the league right now overall, Jerry?
Well, I think the fact that we don't have enough players. We have players. Our roster's small. I would say the only thing we lack is that 4 or 5 guys, and we get to pick that up at Game 5 to practice against.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see a big change. Game 5, everybody gets a scout team to work on it. And you know and I know that means for more production during the game. But they waited to Game 5 before we could add that. And I think we have excellent players, but we don't have enough of them yet, and we're going to change the roster size.
Yeah, well, I think that's a must. That's a good point on your part because I will tell you, without those extra kids to work against, it's you wear the kids out that have to play, and that just
our defensive line, for example, has to be show team and your team, and your left corner has to be your left corner, and then it has to be who you're playing left corner, and if we get some extra kids in there, that'll help us.
Well, there's no doubt about that. What is the outlook there for your? I know you're 0-2 right now, but you've got you're playing better. Looks like you're playing better, and you certainly did a lot to slow that run and shoot down last week, Jerry. What do you see as your football team's future here?
I think everybody's about the same talent-wise because we did the draft. I think you have a chance every week. I think everybody has a chance of beating you. When we did the draft, Kate, was totally different. For instance, when we were drafting defensive tackles, that's all you could draft that round. In the next round, you could only draft corners. In the next round, you could only take offensive linemen. So no one team is loaded with a position. We're all equally balanced. So I see a league where Las Vegas is going to love it because anybody can beat anybody any day because nobody has a stretch at any position.
Yeah, I could certainly see that. Okay, well, Jerry, listen, I know you've got to run. You've got an appointment. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time to jump on here with us for a few minutes.
Well, come see a game. Come see a home game. I'd love to have you as my guest.
Would love to do it. Have you caught up with Elvis Presley yet?
Well, he's on the staff. He's coaching the defensive line. Come on, I'll introduce you to him.
All right, we'll do it.
Right.
Hey, listen, I'd love to have you on again a little bit later on, maybe after you get another 3 or 4 games under your belt.
That'd be awesome. Give me a call.
Will do, Jerry. Thank you, buddy.
There he is right there, Jerry Glanville, former Atlanta Falcons coach, Houston Oilers, and now the defensive coordinator right there with the Tampa Vipers. Look, it's early on in the season. They're figuring all the things out. These games have been close, too. You got to look at that. Like in the NFL, you're not going to get a lot if you just look at the overall record because, these teams each and every week, they're trying to figure out their rosters. You know that. These guys have never played together This isn't like saying that you've got one of those relationships where Larry Fitzgerald has been around Arizona for a decade and a half. These guys are playing with each other for the first time ever, and you can see teams the growth. And Tampa's one of those. They started off pretty awful. It was bad. This was a team. Now, whatever Vegas wants to try to flip a coin to see who is the favorite going into the season, they didn't know that as much as we did until they saw the overall result after week 1. But what we did see, Coach, is this team's improving. They're 0-3 now, but they're improving, and they got the game at home this week. It's the final game of the week, so they can see everything else that has happened, and they're going to take on a DC Defenders team that came off a real shaky game last week with Cardell Jones and a tough loss. So this could be that first win.
You're exactly right. They had the first 2 games. They looked unbeatable, and then they looked unwinnable this past week. They backed up for sure. And you're right about just learning about their players. You know, Tampa, when they started the season, a lot of the hype was about the quarterback, from Georgia who had
Aaron Murray,
Aaron Murray, who had played well in college, and he was awful. He was absolutely terrible, and I mean they couldn't afford to keep him in there for another series. He just wiped them out. So they had to overcome what looked like to be a strength to be a terrible deficit on their football team. So, how do you overcome that? The quarterback position, that's tough.
Well, I think for Tampa too, remember they're facing the DC team that Cardell Jones looked to be the star of the XFL. Then he throws 4 interceptions last week against Los Angeles. So if anything, this is the perfect time for DC to come rolling in. It kind of gives that idea when you look at how LA ran their defense for them to set it up for Jerry Glenville and those guys. Because look, the defense has been good. They've struggled on offense. They had a little bit of a bright spot change. I think Elizondo went to the offensive coordinator position. They changed it up, showed some success. I'm still not buying into Taylor Cornelius, but that's what they have right now. Taylor Cornelius is their best quarterback. I still would hope to see Quentin Flowers get a little more playing time because he's a dual threat type of guy for them, because right now they just need a spark in the offense. Yeah. But nonetheless, hey, I mean, you had against probably, in my opinion, the best team in the XFL, the Houston Roughnecks, you were knocking on the door to win that football game. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Jerry's knowledge of the run and shoot helped there, as we said, going into the ball game. Well, I think we've got a break coming up here, and then we're going to try to get into some prognostication.
Yes, we do. We have a number of games this week. The LA Wildcats at New York Guardians, Seattle Dragons at St. Louis. Great fan base. Great to see St. Louis have football again, and they were proud of it and got a little love on their side as well as that kick return for a touchdown. First ever in XFL history. Houston at Dallas, and then D.C.
That's the big Texas showdown.
That's a big Texas showdown right there. Yeah. Bob Stoops coming in those real comfortable jeans. He's having a good time, and it's been a good showing so far. Houston, the best team overall. 3-0 to start the season. We're coming back for more. It's Inside the XFL with interviews you'll only find right here on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. And we'll give you this barbershop quartet who'll sing the name of the perfect hire.
Vince Lundy.
Vince Lundy.
Vince Lundy.
Vince Lundy. Okay, there's no quartet. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best 4G LTE networks, same as the big carriers, but just for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, saving you up to half the cost of the big carriers. No contract. Full court coverage, half the cost. Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
What's up, Chad here from the Sports Drive? Well, hoops into full swing. Let's walk down memory lane. Like when Bob Costas called Michael Jordan's wife his mom.
Michael, surrounded by his mom, his wife. That wasn't fair, but I'm covered with champagne and can hardly see.
Yikes. Or Magic Johnson working with his business partner, Rob Pelinka. Best friends.
I wasn't having fun coming to work anymore, especially when I got to work beside you, knowing that you want my position.
And this coach so proud of his team.
Came down the offensive rebound. They got every offensive rebound. We didn't get one of them. What else do you want to know?
Sports Drive, 5 to 7 on ESPN Pensacola.
The latest sports news is at ESPNpensacola.com and on Facebook at ESPN Pensacola. Plus, watch Chad Brilliante, Coach K, and Sports Call live on our exclusive YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Talk football every day with Pensacola's own Coach K.
Credit a great performance by Garoppolo. And I love the way he throws the football. He's got all the things going for him.
Every weekday, noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back to Inside the XFL right here on ESPN Pensacola with former NFL coach and World League champion. He's been in leagues, spring leagues, and won championships with some big players, guys you see on ESPN like Louis Riddick and more, and having an opportunity to share his inside knowledge with the biggest interviews, the best in the XFL. From last week, the State of the Union with Oliver Luck, the commissioner of the league, to this week, former Atlanta Falcons and a guy that you've seen around. He's got a persona, an image, and maybe even knows where Elvis is, Jerry Glanville as well. So, Coach, great interviews, but we have 4 games once again to talk about this week. I do also like to talk about how they diversify finding the games, but on stations you can find. not one of those Ochos 370 on the logs where you can't find the game. But the first game will be on ABC, the next game on Fox, FS1, and ESPN2. So they're giving everybody a range and an outlet to find the games, which is, I think, good for the league, and it's also good for the product. Those are big stations.
No question about it. They've done a heck of a job with their television contracts. And, it's interesting. I don't know if you heard Bill Polian when he was on last week interview. Mm-hmm. And he's, of course, very up on these spring leagues. He was much involved with the AAF a year ago and whatever. But he was talking about, and we all recognize what a good job they've done putting this XFL together. And they have. It's nothing like what was the original concept, which was phony as you can believe. Prostituted football, and then this league does not. This is true football played on the football field, and the first sign of stability was hiring Oliver Luck as the commissioner. Very bright guy who's done a great job everywhere he's been. Latest job was as athletic director with West Virginia. But anyway, they've got a good product. They've got good people involved, and it's going very well.
Well, let's take a look at the games. We'll start with Saturday's slate at 1 p.m. on ABC. It'll be the LA Wildcats and New York Guardians. Decent-sized markets, 1 and 2. So you've got right now a game with a 1 and 2 team and a 1 and 2 team, but heading in different directions. Josh Johnson, a guy that got a call from the couch and was the Washington Redskins quarterback in 2019. A guy that's been around the league, is confident enough to play. Had a big game last week where the New York Guardians are trying to put a quarterback that's not going to chew the team out at halftime during the speech. At this point, you have one team going in one way, the other, but they're both 1-2. Coach, who do you like in this matchup in New York?
Well, I like what LA's done. They've turned that around. And listen, Winston Moss, who's going to be on with us next week, has really shown some leadership out there. Where he just something must have happened with that defensive coordinator, because he fired him after the first game and got rid of a couple of other people, and he's gone to Josh Johnson, and Johnson and Landry Jones are playing extremely well, and they show their NFL background and their experience they had there. So no, I'll take LA every time on this one.
I think in this game, I think LA kind of runs away with it, like a performance last week. Look, New York, they've got a lot of problems right now. The defense isn't terrible, but I think that whole team is kind of lost at this point. Listen, Matt McGloin, Luis Perez, Marquise Williams. At this point, you can toss it up. They played all three of them last week. They have got to figure out that quarterback position because, look, it's tough in the XFL because of your lack of depth. Well, now you're having to go to your third-string guy. I mean, Luis Perez was a Division II guy. I mean, he's talented, but it's going to be interesting to see. But I've got to take L.A. big in this one.
Well, too, I think maybe the Jets and the Giants came over and said, look, you're making us look bad. That first week, they go, we have a tradition here in New York to lose football games over the last decade, so what are you guys doing out here? And then they've lost two severely bad. So they're fitting what works in MetLife Stadium. The fans are now, they're more comfortable with them getting beat by 20. That's my theory on that one. There you go. Very optimistic viewpoint there. Seattle Dragons at St. Louis Battlehawks. That's the 4 p.m. slate right there on Fox. And you can catch that game between a St. Louis team that, Coach, great to see fans that have had something taken away from them and get to embrace football again because they loved it. 30,000 people. I heard Oliver Luck, great interview last week, talking about affordable $20 tickets. Yeah. That's what a popcorn costs now that I figured it out. And they're selling other things like that at the movies. But you can see that this game right now means something to this fan and a fan base that loves football, and they got rewarded. Great kickoff return. The kickoff rule is 100 times better right now in the XFL than the NFL, and I hope that's one thing they do adopt. But, Coach, Seattle also great fan base. Seattle always has great fan bases. 1-2 Seattle Dragons with their quarterback Brandon Silvers versus a St. Louis Battlehawks team right now with Jordan Ta'amu, Ole Miss guy that has been doing great for him. And this game will be kicking off at 4 o'clock on Fox. Who do you like in this matchup in St. Louis?
Good ball game. And listen, I'm going to go with Silvers, a Pensacola guy.
Yes, he is.
Former Troy State quarterback. So I'm going with the Seattle people.
I want to go with Brandon Silvers. I love the hometown story here for us in Pensacola. Seattle, I don't think that they're going to be strong enough. Look, St. Louis at home makes a difference. I can't believe I'm saying that right now, but it does. And Jordan Ta'amu, over almost 800 yards of offense by himself, passing and rushing, been a refreshing story. And what a comeback for a young man coming out of Ole Miss like that. For Brandon Silvers, listen, Seattle's my team. I love them, but I got to go St. Louis in this matchup.
Yeah, he says currently to I have proven the most as a Hawaiian professional quarterback. He says currently as of today. I don't know if that's going to last after.
It's a bold statement right
listen,
there.
Hey, it's a fact. I just looking on Sunday's games. Yeah, wait until September there, Jordan. Enjoy it while you last. Houston Roughnecks at Dallas Renegades. As you said, Battle of Texas. They do everything bigger, and so far, this is the best combined record. Both teams combined 5-1. Houston hasn't lost, only undefeated team. And the Dallas Renegades sitting there at 2-1. Bob Stoops has got them comfortable, and the coach a lot of people were looking at the beginning of the season. Landry Jones is now back in the pocket. They don't have hand models in there on Instagram. And you got P.J. Walker, who I think has been right now currently the MVP and also the biggest surprise from Temple, a guy that didn't really get a lot of looks in the NFL. Coach, this is a 3 p.m. kickoff on Fox FS1 right there. Who do you like in the Battle of Texas?
Well, let me tell you, this is the biggest game of the year
so
far in the XFL, and it's going to get a lot of interest. Two good football teams, no doubt about that. You know, I'm going to take the Dallas football team with Landry Jones and Stoops. I think Stoops will do a very good job of coming up with a defense that slows that run and shoot down. I think he's very adept at that. He's going to be This is one of his. This would be a game tailor-made for Stoops to excel defensively. Okay, and then Landry Jones, I just think he's coming more and more and more into his own. He's getting comfortable with it. I'll take Landry Jones and Stoops.
Coach, I guess we're going to have our own Texas showdown here. I got to go with Houston. And the only reason I go with Houston, look, both these teams are so good. Remember, Dallas didn't have Landry Jones week 1. So that's the loss they had there to the Battlehawks. But look, the two hottest quarterbacks right now, I think this is more of a battle for the face of the XFL. Because Landry Jones is supposed to be it, but P.J. Walker came by storm. Remember, Oliver Luck said the only reason P.J. Walker got that call was because Andrew Luck said, hey, you got to come get this guy. This guy's a talent. And he was on the Colts roster with them. And so I think it's a phenomenal story for both these guys. P.J. Walker has been lighting up. And remember, I think the difference here. Now, both teams, Cam Phillips has 7 touchdowns at wide receiver in 3 games. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Stoops is going to stop that. That's their number one guy, obviously.
Yeah.
The guy to look out for, though, is can Cameron Artis-Payne in that running game get going for Dallas? If it doesn't, Landry Jones may struggle because he has thrown multiple interceptions this past couple games. So going to be interesting to see, but I think it will be a high-scoring game.
I like Dallas to win for the reasons. This is what Bob Stoops gets up for. Cameron, you're going to establish the run. I think Cameron Artis-Payne's going to get a lot of touches, and he's a defensive guy. Remember, before he was Big Game Bob in Oklahoma, he was the defensive coordinator for Florida during the fun and gun for Spurrier that helped them have that balance of championships.
Right.
And I think this is what he lives for. And when you get as a coordinator, you're an offensive guy, you're a quarterback guy, even though when you become a head coach, a lot of times people forget that. This is what Bob is look for. Look, the best quarterback, the best offense. Come on, MVP. Welcome to my town. This is what he's living for. This is the moment. I think Dallas wins a close one, and I see the Dallas Renegades making it where there's no undefeated teams left in the XFL. Yeah. The final game, DC Defenders at Tampa Vipers. We just talked with Jerry Glanville, the defensive coordinator for Tampa, right there where, he has to look to a head coach. We're only saying positive things. But looking right now, DC 2-1 at the 0-3 Vipers. They've made a quarterback change. Coach, 6 p.m. ESPN2, final game of that Sunday slate.
I am going to, I'll tell you, I really feel bad for Tampa. I think they'll get better defensively. I've got a lot of confidence in Jerry Glanville. I don't in their offense. I think I'm going to have to say Tampa loses another ball game.
Yeah, I think, look, Tampa's defense keeps them in the game. The DC Defenders will find a way with Cardell Jones to right the ship. Going to be more of a lower scoring game, I think. The defense will hold their own. But I just I can't see how they're going to find the enough offense. I know they scored a little bit last week, but enough offense to pull this off.
Yeah, you watch some games, and a lot of these guys, people were thinking it was going to be some minor league football. These are NFL caliber type players that have played in the NFL. Taylor Cornelius, no, he's that kind of guy that comes in and you go, I don't know. He's made for the XFL at best, and I think until they figure that out, they thought they had that in Aaron Murray. That's why preseason they were one of the top teams, but they haven't figured out offensively, and every other team at least has established their brand. New York Guardians and Tampa Vipers are trying to figure it out. So
I agree.
Well, Coach, it's another great Inside the XFL with only famous guests that you'll find right here, like Jerry Glanville. Enjoyed it, and looking forward to next Monday.
Hey, we look forward to the weekend's games and to next Monday.
All right.
But
appreciate you, JP, sitting and having me come in and just, fill in the closer role right here. You're doing a great job with the show. We're coming back for more Talk Football with Coach K, Inside the XFL, the best interviews right here on ESPN Pensacola. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the XFL.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours.